folks, welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are not, thank you so much for coming back to check out another one of my videos. Okay, so this week I'm actually sharing some kind of older footage with you guys. This is really a project that was just for a bit of fun. I didn't really know what to paint or draw at the time, so I just kind of done whatever I felt like, and I love animals, so it was a no-brainer to just go with a big cat and yeah, tigers. Oh, so awesome. For this piece, I am using Arch's watercolour paper. This is Arch's cold pressed paper, and it is in a block form. So basically that just means it is glued all around the four sides, and to remove it from the block when you're finished the artwork, you can just use a palette knife to slide underneath and release the paper. This is really handy if you don't want to have to tape down your paper every time you start working on a watercolour piece. One thing that I think is quite important to mention is Arch's watercolour paper is definitely on the expensive side of, you know, the price scale. What I would say as well though is it is absolutely worth every penny if you can afford it. I have never found a better surface to paint with watercolours on. The paper is 100% cotton, it doesn't warp nearly as much as other papers, at least the other papers that I have used personally. This is 100% my top choice, and actually when I started out painting with watercolours and ink, I really struggled, and a huge part of that was actually just using paper that didn't allow the paint to spread on the surface the way that it should be able to. If you've tried watercolour in the past and been put off because of your paper, you know, if it has been buckling or maybe the paint isn't behaving the way that you would expect it to while you're working on it, that could be just down to the type of paper that you're using. And honestly, this is something that I ran into big time at the start of my, you know, watercolour journey, I guess. I could not believe it when I finally invested in some good quality paper, and honestly will never look back. Don't get me wrong, I use my sketchbook for most of my watercolour work, as I said, because this paper is quite expensive. I don't have, you know, an unlimited amount of money to spend on it, so my favourite sketchbook to use is the Moleskine sketchbook. I recently finished a 100 Dogs challenge, which I will put a little card in for somewhere around here. And in that video I used an A4 size Moleskine watercolour sketchbook, and I absolutely love these sketchbooks. I've tried some watercolour sketchbooks from Arteza before and I really was not a fan. I also tried some other cheap watercolour papers when I was starting out. I don't even remember the brand, but yeah, they were horrible. Really, really horrible to work on. Yeah, save yourself the trouble. Don't waste your money. Go with products that you know are going to give you the best result for your artwork. If you're anything like me, art will take ages for you to complete, so you don't want to be spending a ton of time on something only to run into problems during the process. Anyway, I guess it's about time that I actually start talking about what I am painting at the moment. So I'm currently using Dr. P.H. Martin's India ink. I love India ink so much. It is amazing. You can add water to it to create a wash and get some really nice light grey tones, or you could add even just a little water to create some darker values for your shading. I honestly think this is one of the most versatile art supplies I have. I absolutely love it to bits. It's amazing. You can paint with it, you can draw with it with a dip pen. It is permanent, which is amazing. This means that you can paint with it, you can draw with it freely, and you don't need to worry if you want to go in with colours on top with inks or watercolour or any other kind of transparent medium. You don't need to worry about it lifting off the page, mixing with anything. It will stay there forever and not budge. This is incredibly handy if you like to do watercolour art. If you're not a fan of using fine liners and you'd prefer to use something like a dip pen, get yourself some India ink. It will change your life. I love it. Sorry, I'm getting far too enthusiastic. Next up, I decided to wet the page with a spray bottle and just drop in some ink, make some splatters, and let the India ink do what it wants. The more water you add, the less control of where the ink flows that you have, but it really does create some beautiful patterns. I also added some salt to the paper while the ink was still wet, just to see what it would do, and it did disperse a little, not as much as it would maybe do with watercolours, I don't think. But I just wanted to see what kind of textures it would create and play around and have fun, because that's what art is all about. So once I had finished my black background and added some drips and just made a mess, I got my Ecoline Watercolor inks. These are the most vibrant, beautiful inks ever. Like, they are so bright, it is ridiculous. I love them, I really do. The only thing that puts me off using these is they are not light fast. I don't think that you could get the same level of vibrancy from light fast pigments. Maybe I'm wrong. If you know, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear what your thoughts are on this. If you're interested in these inks, that's something to be aware of. If you want your work to be archival, you probably want to give these a miss. If you're just using them in your sketchbook for practice, they are perfect. And I guess if you wanted to scan your art for printmaking and things like that, they would be totally suitable. So it really just depends on what your circumstances are and what you might use your artwork for. These are honestly one of my favourite supplies to just mess around with. There's something quite free about just letting loose and painting whatever you feel like on the spot. I am all for it, honestly. It's the best way to overcome art block, 100%. Just grab your brushes and go and paint whatever you feel like. And if you don't feel like it, just go and make a mess and have fun, because that's the best bit. The mess. Thank you ever so much for watching. This will be the last long video from my old filming setup, so from here on out the lighting will be drastically better. The camera quality for the time-lapse videos will also see a massive improvement. Recently, I've been dabbling a little with short form video, and one of my main reasons for this is to show you some of the other sketches and things that I filmed while I had this setup, but really for my longer videos I want them to be much better quality for you guys, so feel free to check out the shorts if you want to see some other sketches and things. I'll be posting a couple over the next few weeks. I will also link to another one of the shorts, which is a kind of first look or preview at the new filming setup for the long form videos. So that one is the Cool Eye painting, and next week I have a very similar painting, but I'm going to do a full length tutorial to walk you through the process. Okay guys, thank you so much again for watching. Special thank you to my amazing patrons. You guys are the best. You have helped me to no end getting started with this channel. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you've made it all the way to the end, don't forget to hit subscribe. See you again next week. Cheery bye!